So a full run through of making an MVC database web application with linked tables. So I'm going to start creating a new project. I am going to choose a place to save it, making sure that I choose somewhere with a drive letter in front of it, so D:/ instead of clicking on my documents folder, which then gives me a whole bunch of extra this / internal dot blah 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 boring annoying stuff. So new folder in my D drive. I'm going to call this one student. I wonder if I've already got a student database. Don't know. Nope. And yep. And I'm going to call it actually students database. Why not? And yeah, net web application. Is that the right one? I guess we'll find out in a moment. MVC, change authentication, individual user accounts, does all of that magic for you. There's going to be some pausing during this as stuff happens. Perhaps I should have a song that I sing in between. Perhaps a waiata. I'm sure no one really needs that, do they? I could recite poetry maybe. Read from a book. So here we are. Here's my website. And if I hit play it will just work. But let's start by making some models. And if you remember, we needed to create models. So add class, and I'm going to do student standard assessment, just like we did in class in Access. So I'm not going to do the data annotations. I'm just going to do it as public student ID. I kind of know that I should do it as just ID because I know that Visual Studio likes that. I should have said what type it was, shouldn't I? That was an int. But I'm going to see if I can get away with doing a descriptive ID, so student ID, and I'll have assessment ID and standard ID. We'll see if that comes back and bites us, shall we? So I'm also going to have each student's going to have a last name. I forgot to say what type it was again, didn't I? Public string last name, getter and setter. Get and set are I don't think I'll waffle on about that right now. Public, did I say string yet? No, it's string. It'd be good if I could touch type, wouldn't it? Then I'll be able to see what I'd written already. That'll do for now. What I am also going to set up here is the link to the assessments model, which doesn't actually exist yet, so it's going to show up as an error, but it will still be the correct thing. Let me just refer to exactly how this is syntaxified. Public virtual I collection enumerable, I guess. No, not enumerable. I don't know. I collection. I'm sure I should know. And this is going to be linking to the assessment model and assessments, and there'll be a getter and a setter. That'll do. Underlined in red because that's not done yet. Look, I forgot a semicolon, didn't I? I think I'll do better than that. But when we create the assessment model, that will work. Am I happy with that? Why are my brackets all wrong here? That shouldn't be like that, should it? That's strange. I'm sure if you look back you can spot when I fat fingered something there. So let's save that. Let's make another model for standards. And lost my mouse, found my mouse. What am I making? I'm making another class, aren't I? And this one is going to be my standard class. And my standard is going to have a public int standard ID with a getter and a setter. And I'm going to have I'll have a couple of fields, public string title, and that's get and set. That must have been where I fat fingered it, somehow in amongst that. Have I stuffed it up now? Looks like I have, doesn't it? That's better. And public string. Oh, what was I going to do? I was going to do standard number, wasn't I? Because standard ID and standard number are not necessarily the same thing. The standard ID is the unique identifier. The standard number is something that can be duplicated. If you've got multiple versions of the same standard, they all have the same standard number. And it is a deliberate choice to make it a string, just in case someone puts AS or US or whatever in front of it. And then we also needed to do that public virtual assessment. Oh, it's an I collection, wasn't it? I collection assessments. So enough. Getter and a setter. Get set. Go. And again, that we'll come back and check that red disappears in a moment. So that's saying that we've got a foreign key link to the assessments model, which we should make now. Let's do it. Right, so right click models, add a new class called assessment, and public class assessment. So public int assessment ID get set. And what is it else going to have? Public int student. This is right, isn't it? Yeah, student ID. Student ID. We'll go with ID, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up in a second. Get set. Miss the semicolon. And public int standard ID get set. And as well as those links to those other two fields, so we're saying which standard and which student, we might have some extra information, like for example the result. Oh no, a string, public string result, which we are going to be unique to each assessment, and we could have a date as well. I'm not getting into dates right now, so we'll just stick with result. We can add more fields later. And then finally, let me just look this up. When we get to here, we're setting up you've got these are the foreign keys. They were primary keys in the other one. So public virtual student get set. No red. That's good. And public virtual standard get set. What's that doing? Right, so I have my models in place now. Confident? Reasonably confident. I'm going to do this stuff with the migrations as well right now. I don't need to do it because I haven't created any database yet, but I'm just going to set that up anyway. And before I do that, even that, I'm going to go into the package manage NuGet packages for solution and just get rid of these compilers that we don't need. So it seems to be that these are cropping up for you now. So you need to go and find this and uninstall them. So I can't remember. It does actually require you to uninstall them in a particular order. Yeah, see, it says error. We can't uninstall that one first because this one needs it. So we uninstall this one. And yeah, That seemed to work. And then we go down and we find that compilers and we uninstall that one. Oh, super duper. And then it says this failed to uninstall. I need to restart Visual Studio to finish the process. Restart. A moment of patience. And did it do it? What's going on? I think we're there. And now I'm going to do the enable migrations magical thing. If you get errors down here when you get to this point, that's a problem. So you need to let me know about that. If it asks you if you can run stuff, say yes. Say R for run. I've seen that on one screen. I haven't seen it on many screens. Enable migrations. Dang it. Why? Let's see what error we get when we try to build. It says that in assessment.cs I've fat fingered on line 13. Assessment.cs, line 13, fat fingered. Let's try enable migrations again, shall we? Tum-ti-tum. Tum-ti-tum. Well, that seemed to work, didn't it? Sand, right in here, automatic migrations enabled equals false. True. So we won't have to do too much stuff. We still need to update the database and so on. Right, that's all the models made, but we can't really see an awful lot of that yet until we've made the controllers. So I think I'm just about going to have time for this. So I'm going to say add controller, and controller with views using entity framework, which means it's going to just do all the difficult stuff for us. We'll do the student one first. Student, yep, and data context class, yep, I think that's all good. And this might be where we get back to poetry. Should have bought Lord of the Rings to read while it faffs around doing all of this little lot. Tum-ti-tum-ti-tum. And that worked. And let's do another one. Add a controller for, we're going to do, let's do standards this time. Yep. And lovely. And last one, add a controller for assessments. Add assessment controller with views. All of the magic is going to happen. This is so much work that is being done for you. Let's hit go. I believe this is going to work. Oops, I opened up on my other screen. Here we are. So, and busy in the background. Look how much it's doing. All these things. Yeah, we've got 1 minute left before I hit the 15-minute limit on this. So let's see how quickly we can do this. /students. Wait again, here we go. Let's create a new student. As we're in the Lord of the Rings things. Bilbo Baggins. Create. Let's create another one just to be sure. Last name Smith, first name Mr. Create. Cool. Let's now go to standards, because I haven't included any standards in this yet. Watch in that time. Create a new standard. It's going to be doing stuff. And it's going to be standard 91000. And let's make another one. Doing more stuff. 91001. Create. And then finally, if I go into assessments, I should see drop downs and everything. Create new, and I can say, obviously we're going to need to work on these, doing stuff, and give them an excellence for that, and I think we're done. it actually all works.